All right, welcome back to day 11 of the 30-day coding challenge. Today we're going to be building this BMI calculator. If you're new here, hi, my name's Zoe. I'm a software engineer and former university professor that loves teaching folks how to code. If you're interested in starting a career in web development, check out that first link in the description below. But without further ado, let's hop into day 11 of the challenge. All right, so as I said, we're going to be building this BMI calculator. I want to really focus on the calculator portion first, and then we can add in the styles as we have time. So it's pretty straightforward. What you do, you just drop in your height and your weight, and you select metric or imperial, and then it will calculate your BMI and return that for you. And so that's a version, that's how it looks like with the imperial system. Okay, cool. So yeah, let's go ahead and start that. I've already gotten the code up and running in terms of just the starter, where it's going to be the material UI, Next.js, TypeScript, app starter that I have linked down in the description below. Again, you don't have to use this, but if you do want to use it, you can definitely use that. And then again, this is the calculator that we're going to be using. We're going to be using the design from Frontend Mentor. So again, if you do want to follow along, you can definitely do that. I'll link that in the description below as well. So first things first, I'm going to go ahead and clean up some of these styles because the starter is meant for like a dark mode start, but this actually looks it's a light mode start. So let's go ahead and get that going. All right, so I'm gonna start by building this like calculator hero section, and we'll build the hero and the calculator. Or let's just start with the calculator itself because that is kind of the most important thing. So I'm gonna go ahead and create a new folder, components. I'm going to store all my components in here, and then new file is going to be calculator.tsx. And I'm going to drop this file into my page.tsx. Cool. I'll say calculator. All right, cool. Good to go. So we have our calculator there, and we can see, yeah, it's showing up. Awesome. So yeah, as I said, I don't want to focus too much on the styles at first. I want to focus on the functionality so we get that going, and then we can throw it in with the styles once we have it working. So looking again at our design, basically what we have is two selects. So you choose whether or not you're using the metric system or the imperial system, and then it'll calculate your BMI. I've also gone ahead and saved a little image. I just Googled how to calculate a BMI for metric and imperial, so we can have that as a reference for when we're actually doing the logic for this. So first things first, let's build out just this component. So we'll style up this component just so we don't have to do that separately, and I'm pretty sure this component is going to use state, or use client, then use state. So first thing, we have a typography element, or we'll use a typography element. We have some text, and we'll say enter your details below, and drop that in there, and we'll say font size is going to be, I think it was 29 pixels, so we'll do that. And then we have these two selects, radio buttons, I should say. I think we can just drop in regular radio buttons for now. Oh, they do. They have one from, okay, let's see if this works. We'll try the radio group, and then we'll say radio. And the first one's going to be metric. Oh, it doesn't. That would make sense. Let's take a look. Okay. Let's take a look at the examples for the radio button here. Oh. Radio group. Ah, gotcha. Form control label. Gotcha. Yeah, I think I just want actually the two radio buttons. So I'll use the styling of it, but I don't think I'm gonna use the radio group. So we'll say that. Okay, and then we also want to set up, okay, so there'll be two buttons. And the the value, let's see. Okay, so there's just labels there. Gotcha. Okay, so I could really just add a typography element after them and then just make my own label. So we'll say typography and we'll say metric, metric, and typography imperial. Imperial. Cool. And then, yeah, we do want to basically set the value once these buttons become checked. So we'll say const selected value, set selected value. We'll say use state, and we'll start with metric. That'll be the default. So checked selected value equals metric. And then we'll say const swap change system, or change system. We'll say on click. What if it's on click set selected value to imperial, and then here it'll be the same thing, set selected value to metric. Oops. And then check selected value equals imperial, and value will be imperial, and value will be metric. Label A. All right, I'm just gonna comment out what I am not using. Expression expected. Might not like all those comments. Why does it not like that? Oh, silly. All right, cool. Let's check it out here. Okay, awesome. So metric, imperial. So far, so good. That works. Let's do a little bit of styling just so we can see things a little bit better. So we'll say, we'll wrap these two in a box. And we'll say, oh, I wonder if this is going to be difficult to style. Let's see. We'll say, inspect that. Say border, one pixel solid. No, that does not take. Stroke. I don't think stroke is right. No. Let's see. Oh, it's like an icon situation. Gotcha. If we say fill. Okay, cool. Let's say fill. Okay. Let's try that. So we have, this is the radio button, I think. And then we'll have, oh no. So we have the box, and it gives us a span. Yeah, so this is the radio button. So we want the SVG inside the span. There are two spans. We want the SVG within that. All right, let's see if we can do that. So we'll say span dot span dot. Actually, it's not really span dot span. It's really MUI button base root or MUI radio root. This might be a little bit more complicated than it's worth. I think I might just want to use a regular radio button for this. Input. I'll just say type equals radio. Oops. I think you can add a label. No, aria label. All right. Yeah, that's a lot better. Since we're not actually using any of the styles, I think it's just going to be much more complex. Okay, so input type radio, on click. We can add that. Checked. We can do that. Let's save that. Let's see. Let's look up HTML radio. Okay. Looks good. Let's see. Oh, get rid of the second one. Cool. Get rid of that. And then we can actually use labels and stuff like that, as they suggest that we do here. Set value equals metric. Actually, this should be a metric. And value should be imperial. All right, good. Start. Okay, awesome. Working as expected. Perfect. So then we'll just turn this into a flex box. And yeah, so it defaults symmetric, and then we can swap it over to imperial should we want to do that. Looks good. All right, so let's just say justify or align items. Oops, align items to the center. Cool. And then I'll say label. What was it? Label for oops, metric. No, it does not like that. No? Okay. We'll leave it as a typography element for now. Not super mission critical. Okay, so we have those two. Next thing we want to do is this little height and weight input section down here. All right, so this is our first box with our radio buttons. And we'll also do justify content space between. And then I'll set a max width of this box to 44, I think. Or no, 5 something. 564. Okay, so we'll say this larger box, we'll say max width 564 pixels. We'll save that. Okay, cool. Awesome. And then I'm just gonna group these two together, the input and the labels. So set box. All right, cool. Awesome. And I should have also made those flex boxes. And cool, they're both flex boxes now. Perfect, so that looks pretty decent. Yeah, let's do the next input. So now we need the height and the weight. So I think I'm gonna just go ahead and drop in another box down here. I'm gonna say box, and then I can do another input actually. Input type equals text. Yeah, let's do type equals, oh, technically it's actually a number. Yeah, type equals number. And then we'll do the same with the label here. We'll say, except it'll go in front, we're gonna say height. And we'll put a box around that. And again, boxes are just divs. And then we'll have another one for the weights. Awesome, weight. Cool, so we have our height and our weight. Awesome. Cool, looks good. So we want it to be height and weight, 85 or 185 centimeters, weight in kilograms. So this is our metric calculator. For the height, for the input, what I'm thinking is that I want it to suggest centimeters. So I'm gonna add another typography element that says centimeters here. And then I'm gonna wrap these two in a box. I'll say style, for the input here, we'll say style equals border none. Let's see if that removes the border. Awesome. And then we'll say display flex. Cool. And then we'll say border is going to be, border is going to be dark electric blue. All right, 1 pixel solid, this color. Cool. And then border radius is going to be, what was it, 12 pixels, 0.75. Okay, minus that little weird piece being cut out, looks pretty decent. I think we could add some padding probably. Yeah, 1.25 rem padding. Okay, cool, looking pretty good. So I'm just gonna do that same thing now for the weight, and it's going to be kilograms because we're using the metric system, kilograms. And awesome, looks pretty decent. So now we can actually put in our input here without giving us trouble. And I don't know, maybe I want to, I do want to use text because I don't want it to suggest like an up and down like that. Like I just want it to be a box. But we'll use that for now. All right, cool. So we have that, and then we'll have our result. So we'll say whatever the calculation is, that's going to go down at the bottom there. So we'll add in one more box, and it'll say, all right, and I don't know where they're getting the data for this, like whether or not it's healthy or not. I don't see, yeah, they didn't provide any information there as far as I can tell. I'm not seeing anything that says. So we'll just go with, we'll just sort of give back the BMI. We won't necessarily make like a comment on whether or not it's healthy or not. So we'll just do this bit here. Your BMI is. So we'll say typography. typography. I'll say your BMI is ... and then we'll have a second typography element that's going to be BMI. So we'll say const BMI set BMI. Oops, BMI equals use state. No. We'll say that is what's going to be in here. And it might not like. Okay, cool. That's good. Awesome. So now we can actually do the calculation and make sure that it's working correctly. So looking at our formula here for our metric system, BMI is the weight in kilograms and the height in squared in meters, weight divided by the height. So when the user puts in their weight, we want to save it somewhere. So we'll say const weight, whoops, weight set weight equals use state 0, or we'll start it with null, although I think I'm probably gonna have to change it to 0. Const is weight and height. Set height is use state null, and then we want to perform a check. So we want to say, or we want to calculate. We'll say const calculate BMI. We'll say, and then we'll call this on change. So as they update the values, the BMI will change. So we'll say input, this is the height. We'll say on change e.target. Oops, we want to set height to, oops, set height to e.target.value. And did I spell height wrong? I said weight twice, that's why. Set height to e.target.value. Cool. And e.target.value. Yeah, it's going to give me an error. So we'll say, we'll give it to, we'll say 0. See if that still might not like that. It is not. All right, we'll say any. Let's see if it hates that. Okay, it's fine with that. Again, don't recommend using any, but in order to speed through this, we can go back and type it later correctly. So yeah, set height. And then we want to do the same thing with the weight. So on change, we want to set weight. And yeah, that should work. So then now we want to go ahead and calculate the BMI. So we want to first do a check. If selected value equals metric, do this, else if selected value equals imperial, do something else. So if the selected value is metric, we want to take the weight. So we'll say weight, oops, weight divided by height squared. We're going to say set BMI to that. Const value. Okay, so it's going to set BMI to weight divided by height squared. And it's not assignable, we'll say any. Okay, and then otherwise we want to set BMI to weight divided by height squared times, whoops, times 703. And that'll be our answer. And then we want to calculate this on change. So this is going to be on change. We're setting the height. Ooh, is that going to create a circular dependency? On change. Let's see. Let's see if it gives me an error. We'll say set height and also calculate BMI. Oh, okay. So far, so good. Let's see if this keeps working. Same thing. Calculate BMI. And yeah, we don't need to pass it anything. We already have all the values. And then, yeah, BMI will be returned there. All right, so let's see if this works. Let's say if I am 100 centimeters tall and my weight is 100 kilograms, BMI would be 0.01. I feel like that's not correct. I feel that's very much incorrect. So it's definitely the formula. I think it's probably this bit right here. Let's say const height squared equals height okay, let's try that again. 100 centimeters, 100 kilograms. All right, maybe it is just me doing it incorrectly. Let's do a real BMI calculate. There we go. There's a real BMI calculator. All right, let's just go with metric units. Let's go 100 and 100 and see what we get. Okay, maybe that's not the best way. Let's do 185 by 65. BMI equals 19 kilograms. Oh, maybe we need to multiply it by something. Let me see. Let's see that. So let's say 185 by 65 by 65. And the calculator is giving us, not saying it's 19. BMI calculator. 185, 65. All right, so the answer should be 19. That's the result we're expecting. And we are getting like 17 point something. So that's definitely not correct. So let's sort out this calculator. So let's say console log. Let's console log the weight. Oops. Weight, height squared. Let's see what that is. Okay, we'll refresh real quick. 185, 65. Ah, it's turning it to text. Gotcha. That's the issue. So let us turn it into a number. All right, so which one is it turning to text? No, what did I? Console log weight, console log height squared. Oh no, it's also not setting it, looks like. Set height, centimeters. Set weight, no, okay. Oh, it's just because I have it backwards. Okay, so 185 is the height, but 65. Oh. Okay. Well, let me do this forward so I don't confuse myself. Height, weight. $185. Oh, interesting. It's not updating. Ah, got you. Okay, and 65. Got you. So when it gets to the calculator, it hasn't updated. Got you. Interesting. On change. Let me calculate BMI. maybe I just need to pass it into the calculate BMI function. That might be the better way to go about this. Rather than doing like a setter and everything like that. That might be better. But how would I do that? That wouldn't work. That wouldn't work. Maybe I'll just create a calculate BMI button and that'll fix the problem. That's probably the most straightforward way to do this. So if I say height, weight, and then out here I say button, we'll say on click, calculate, on click, calculate BMI. Does that work better? $185, 65, calculate. Okay. Yes, that actually worked. So it's calculating it. I think we just need to multiply it. All right, so let's do one more test. So if we were 125 centimeters and 40 kilograms, let's try that and see if we get the same result. So 125 and 40, calculate. Yeah, your BMI is 25.6. All right, so we have it. It's just we can't do it on change. It has to be through a calculate button. So I'm fine with that. There's probably like a flush you can do to actually set the state each time. If you know what that is, comment it down below and we can use it in the next tutorial. But yeah, as I said, we just want to kind of get through this and create something that you can add to your portfolio. So again, so we have our button here. BMI is being calculated correctly, and then we want to, oh, and we should also check if it works with imperial measurements. We'll say, oh, well, we don't have that set up, never mind. So set BMI to be all of that times 1,000. Nope, 10,000. We'll say BMI calculator formula. Oh, that's what it was doing wrong. They have it in centimeters and it's supposed to be in meters. That's where the issue is. I was like, why is this not working? Because they have it in centimeters. So yes, this actually does make sense. Because centimeters to meters, or meters, whoops, meters to centimeters. Okay, yeah, so it's 100. Okay, so height is going to be in centimeters. So it's actually height times 100 squared. Got you. That was part of the issue. I was like, why is the number just doesn't make sense? All right, let's try this again. Let's go 125 by 40, calculate. Oh no, that's even worse. All right, let's see what's going on here. Height times 100 squared. Try that again. 125 by 40. Okay, we're getting the base numbers right. Or no, sorry, it's going to be height divided by 100 squared. Yeah. Height divided by 100 squared. 125 by 40. There we go. All right, cool. We've got the BMI now. So that's what we needed to do. Height divided by 100. Whoops. Squared. And that'll be our answer. Let me just make sure it still works. 125 by 40, calculate. Yeah, okay, so cool. Our BMI is working for the metric system. All right, let's go ahead and set it up for the imperial system. So what we want to do here is we have our metric values. What do we need? We need the height in feet and inches and the weight. I'm just concerned in the weight in pounds, right? Because it's the total weight in pounds for the calculator. Imperial. Yeah, weight in pounds. Oh, we have it here. I didn't look it up. Weight in pounds, height in inches. So I don't think I'm going to be concerned about stone. I just want to know pounds. And we'll go with that. We can do the conversion for feet to inches. Like if you're 5 foot, 11, we can do that. All right, so let's see. Height we can leave, but the input's gonna have to change. So we'll say selected value equals metric. If yes, show this. If no, show this. And then this is going to be a box. Actually, yeah, we could just make this a box. Drop that in there. And it's going to be 2 inputs. And first one's going to be feet. Second one's going to be inches. And then we want to actually not set height, but we want to const feet, set feet, use state. And then same thing with inches. Set inches. Cool. So we'll do that down here. We'll say set feet. And we'll say set inches. Cool. So we got the feet and the inches. And then for the weight, because we're going to just do pounds, I think we can actually just change the label. So we're going to say selected value equals metric. Metric. If yes, show me kilograms. If no, show me pounds. Cool, and that looks good. All right, so let me try it out and see how that actually changes first of all. So metric, imperial, yeah, we're getting our feet and our inches. Doesn't look super pretty, but it works. All right, let's make it look a little bit more pretty and then we'll fix, we'll set it up. So we'll say box. We'll say, what do we say? Oh, you know what? That's my fault. I'm actually doing this at the wrong place. For this, I actually need to do it outside of here. So equals metric. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. That. This box closes here. Yes, we don't need this. Good. If that is that, do that. Selected value equals metric. Or else, show me another box. And we'll drop that there. But we do need to wrap each of these in this. So wrap that in a box, and wrap this in a, that in a box as well. Okay, and then this can actually be an empty component. Not perfect. Oh. Okay, perfect. Yeah. So that works. And then for the oh, actually, no, this is actually going to need to be a box. This is going to be, it's going to set it, yeah, set it side by side. Cool. So that works. So now when we get feet and height, feet and inches, sorry, what we need to do is we need to say, if it's imperial, we want to say const total inches equals feet times 12 plus inches. And then we want to take the total inches, multiply, or sorry, square the total inches, and then, yeah, we can just do the same thing with the weight and then multiply by 703. So that should work. Let's try a BMI calculator using feet and inches. So say 5 foot, 11 inches, weight, I don't know, 180. Calculate that. 25.1. So try it here. 5 foot, 11 inches, 180. Calculate. Okay, not quite. And we're getting totally different. Let me actually refresh, make sure I'm doing it correctly. 5 foot, 11 inches, 180. Calculate. Yeah, no, totally wrong. All right, so let's see what needs to change. Total inches equals feet times 12 plus inches. Yes, that makes sense. Total inches squared, right? Total inches squared. Weight divided by total times 703. Should be correct. Let's console.log some stuff. So say console.log total inches. Total inches. And we'll console.log the weight and see what we're getting here. Refresh. Imperial. Whoops. 5 foot, 11, 180. Calculate. Ah, okay, this is where we're getting the text error. So it needs, yeah, it's just literally concatenating them instead of actually adding them. So we need to basically just make sure this is a number. These are both numbers. So we'll say number plus number, inches converted to a number. That should give us the correct BMI, I think. So we'll say 5 foot, 11, 180. Yes, 25.1. Yes, that is correct. Awesome. So yeah, it was just a matter of the types being incorrect there. So again, one of the good reasons, like with TypeScript, is it's good because it makes you think about these things. But that works. All right, cool. So then BMI will be, oh, we also want to do one thing. Limit JS, limit number after decimal. JavaScript, I think we want to do, yeah, to fixed. Yeah, to fixed. So we'll do 1 decimal place, I think. So we'll say dot to fixed. We'll go 1, so that way we don't get, yeah, there's 25.1. Awesome. So the calculator is working. So that was like the major sort of thing we had to do here. Now let's work on the styling. Let's just make it pretty and turn it into a real portfolio piece. I think for the sake of time, so this tutorial isn't super long, we should just focus on getting this initial style working, and then we can always expand a little bit later and add all these extra pieces. But if you do want to see other videos where I have gone and done through the whole landing page, I'll link it up here so you can check those out. So yeah, let's hop into the actual, just this top hero section and see if we can style this out, because there's actually some interesting stuff we're going to do here. All right, so looking at our page right now, it's pretty boring, pretty basic. I think what we're going to need is we need to make this like background situation here, this gradient. So I think, yeah, that's what we're going to have to do. So let's go and create like a hero component. If we're just building, or we don't need a hero. We can actually do this using just a singular box, I think. Let me do the hero. Let me start with the hero. Another interesting thing to note is actually this is like an individual box and then the calculator goes on top of it. I was thinking that maybe the calculator would go in the hero, but maybe it's going to go on top. So let me start by creating the hero component. So say hero.tsx and then create that. We're going to use a box and yeah, let's say that is box. Cool. And then we will go ahead and drop this in here. So we'll drop the box there. Awesome. Not the box, sorry. We'll drop the hero in there. There we go. Okay, perfect. So we have our hero. It's just sitting up there. For the gradient, we want to use, let's take a look at the color. Okay, so it's this is the color we're looking for. So I'm going to go into the hero. I'm going to say background. And let's look up background gradient. Let's look up how we should do this correctly. Okay, so we're going to do background image linear gradient. That makes sense. Okay, let's do it like that. So we'll say background image linear gradient, and then it'll be, I guess, from whatever color to whatever color. Okay, sounds good. Let's get hex converter, hex to RGBA. Let's do that, because the hex for is this, so we want to convert it into, yes, RGBA, so we can use these colors instead. So we're going to say that's going to be the first color, and then the second color is going to be the 0. And that's going to be the background color there. Awesome. Taking a look. Okay, yeah, and it's already doing it. Perfect. So now we just need to set the background gradient. We just want to turn it. So I believe we just add, yeah, we just add a turn to it. 0.25 turn. We could set it in degrees. Let's try with the turn. So let's say 0.3 turn. Is it one? No, it's not. It's one word. All right, turn. And let's take a look. Okay, other direction, I guess 0.7 turn. Because we want it, yeah, light on that side and getting darker on this side. All right, so that looks pretty good. The next thing we're going to want to do is sort of build out the size of this box. So the box is going to be sort of most of the page in terms of the vertical space and like 2/3 of the page in terms of the horizontal space. So for that, I am going to just create some height and width. So we'll say the height is going to be like 80 view height, and then the width is going to be about 65 view width. And we'll start with that as our box. Okay, not too bad. Oh, the other thing I do need to fix is this like extra little margin on the top and the bottom there. Just because if we have that, we want it to be intentional, but right now it's just due to not having a reset style. So we'll say body and HTML, we'll say margin 0. We'll save that. Okay, cool, perfect, fixed. Then there is a little bit of margin on the left of this, it appears 1.5 rem. So we're gonna add some rem to some space, some margin to the left there. So we'll say margin left 1.5 rem. So now we can choose to add the margin because it suits our design better. And then the final thing we wanna do here is curve these edges here. So it looks like the corner radius is mixed, what is that? Okay, 35 pixels. So we'll say border radius, top, right, 35 pixels, and we'll just convert those. So that should just target the bottom, left and right. Yeah, and it's hard to see here. I think we might even need to turn the turn a little bit more. Maybe we'll turn it to 0.8. Bring it around a little bit more. Yeah, and then we're just kind of getting the edge of that. So now we have our background for our hero. So we can start there. And then the next thing we're going to want to do is we are going to want to add in our text. So let's add in our typography elements. So we'll say typography. Import that from Material UI. Typography. Cool. And then we'll say body mass index calculator. And this is definitely going to be an H1, so we'll see variant H1. Cool. And then we have like a body text piece here. So we'll say we'll create another typography element and we'll drop that in there. It should just default to, yeah, a body style. So those two are good. The other thing we want to drop in is this image. I'm sure if they want us to add it, we have it somewhere here. Probably the logo. I'm going to guess it's the logo, but we'll find out. We'll go ahead and import image from next image. And we'll say source equals, let's copy the relative path. And we'll say alt equals logo. And then for this, we're going to say 64 by 64. Height is 64. Width is also 64. And take a look at that. See if it shows up. Yeah, okay, perfect. That's the right thing there. Awesome. So the last thing I'm going to want to do now is just sort of position everything correctly. So I'm going to add in, let's see, looks like 116 pixels of padding to the left and 75 to the top. So we'll say padding 75 top, to the right, not sure yet, to the bottom, appears like quite a bit, 200. To the right, we could probably say what, like another, let's say 300. And then to the left, it was 116. And again, we might have to adjust these numbers, but we can start off with that and see what it gives us. Okay, so that adds a lot to the actual image itself, which is fine. We just need to shrink the height and the width. So we can just say 60 and 45. Yeah, that'll bring it back to kind of where we want to be. And then I can probably make it a little bit shorter, in fact, probably 55. Okay. Yeah, and then we'll just space them out accordingly. So we can just say, for this box, we'll say display flex. Flex direction is going to be column. And then the way we'll justify our content is using space between, so we'll space out accordingly. Cool, and that looks pretty decent. I think actually we might want to wrap these two in a box, just so we have a little bit more control. Or maybe we don't want to do space. I think probably do want to do space between, wrap these two in a box, save that, and then maybe set the height of this box. Direction column, column, justify content, space between. And then I'll set the size of that box to be like 271. Cool, that looks pretty good. So we have those two there. Let's now move our calculator on top of it. So we're gonna go back to our calculator, and basically we wanna give it some style, some details here. So we have a drop shadow here. Let's take a look. Oops. Okay, so let's take a look at drop shadow, or it's box shadow. Property for box shadow. So basically what the details they're giving us here in the design is basically what we're going to use there. So we're going to say for the outer box, we're going to say background, we're going to say box shadow, and then we're going to say 16, 32, 56. So 16 pixels, 32 pixels, 56 pixels, and then the color is going to be this right here. But we want to add 25%. So I think I actually want to convert it to RGB, BA converter. Go ahead and convert that. Yeah, I'm going to grab this and then set it to 0.25 so we can use the actual opacity. All right, so we have a bit of a box shadow going on here. Let's see what else we need to do here. Oh yeah, we need to set the border radius, the corner radius, I think. Did we do that? No, we didn't do that. So let's say border radius is going to be 1 rem. Cool, we'll save that. And then now we need to position it. So we want the position to be absolute. So we'll say top 10. Cool, and it puts it right up on top there. Really where we want it is probably about 100 from the top, maybe probably more than that, maybe 200-300 from the top. Maybe 200 from the top. And then from the left, we're gonna want it about 600. Oh, and I should give it a background color, because right now it's just picking up whatever is underneath it. Good, okay, awesome. Background color, left maybe 700. Cool, and then we can, I think we might need to adjust the hero text. Yeah, I think we need to adjust it a little bit so it breaks. Say width of this is gonna be 400 pixels. Okay, good. Yeah, body. Oh no, actually, body mass index calculator. You know, maybe I need to actually just break it here. I'll put in a break there so the words break on the right lines. Okay, good. That looks pretty decent. Yeah, so let's finish up with the calculator. So the calculator now, we want to add in some padding. It's about 2 rem all around. So let's say padding, 2 rem. Good. Enter your details below. That is going to be 29 pixels-ish. Probably smaller than that. 24 pixels, yeah. We're going to say, for this one here, we're going to say, we did the font size. Then we're going to add some weight to it. Say font weight 600. And save that. And then we have our 2 buttons here, metric and imperial. They look pretty decent. I think what I want to do, justify content, space between. I wonder if I do text align left, if that'll move it over to the left at all. No. Let's take a look. I don't know if space between is exactly what I want. I think more so I want it to be not center. Flex start. Kind of flex start, which is the default, but then I want this to take up. I want it to take up more space. So let's do that. Let's say flex. Let's leave it how it is, and then we'll say this one takes up flex of 0.5. Let's see if that worked. Okay, cool, that worked. Awesome. Next thing is, well, we want to add some margin, some padding, some margin to this box, this larger box. So we're going to say margin, margin top bottom is going to be 2 rem, left and right will be 0. Cool. And even some margin, margin left will be 0.5 rem. Just to the labels there. Cool. Margin left. Awesome. And then, yeah, for our height and our weight now, we want them on separate lines all the time. Oh, this is for imperial. For metric, we want it on the same line. All right, so for metric, it's fine. I think what we just need to do is figure it out with the button. So we'll say, how should we do this? Let's say style, max width 3 rem. That way too small. Let's say 5 rem. That looks good. We'll do max width for both of them. It's centimeters. Oh yeah, and the width doesn't have to the weight doesn't have to change. Good. And then I'll say, first one, I'll say margin right, 1 rem. I probably put it in the right, yeah, probably. Nope, didn't put it in the wrong one. Oh, you know, it has to go on the box. Margin right, 1 rem. Cool. And we'll do the same thing for this box. Margin right, 1 rem. Good. And now for the button, I want to make it kind of cool. So let's say style equals, let's choose a background color. Let's grab this blue. We'll say background color, oops, color is going to be blue. The text color is going to be white. Save that. And then the border will be none. And then the border radius will be 1 rem. Cool. And then we'll say padding, padding 0. Let's say height, actually. Let's do height 1 rem. Okay, let's go height 2 rem. Good. And let's just flex align it with everything else. So we'll say align items to the center. I'll save that. Cool. Not bad. Not great, not bad. I think the other thing we could do maybe is give it like a bit of a hover state. So we'll say, oh no, actually it's gonna be a little bit difficult because we're using a regular button. So we'll just leave that alone. And then for your BMI, we should probably say yours instead of you. So we'll start with that. We'll say your BMI is, and let's create this little box here. So we'll go ahead and say background color is going to be that same color. And then we'll say padding 2 rem. Good. We'll say margin top. It's also going to be 2 rem. I'm going to say that the colors for these two is white. Good. Cool. And then the size of this is going to be Excel heading 64. And the size of this one is going to be 16 but bold. So we'll say font weight, put it to 600. Put 600. And for this one too, we'll put font weight at 600. Okay. Looks good. And then we just need to do our little border radius thing. We're going to say border radius, and it's going to be for the right. It's going to be 16,999. 16,999, probably 1,000, but maybe it can't go past 1,000. Awesome, and that looks pretty good. So other than the error where it's saying not a number, I think if we put in 180 centimeters and 45 kilograms and I calculate it, we get our BMI of 13.9. So we're not going to give any opinion on whether or not it's good BMI or bad BMI. We're not doing that, but it seems to be working. So yeah, and if you want, we can also do it. Go ahead and do the imperial styling as well. Yeah, let's go ahead and drop that in there really quickly. We can say height, weight. Do the same thing, right? We want max width of 5 rem. height is feet. 5 rem. Inches, same thing. 5 rem. Weight doesn't change. Margin right, though, will change. We'll say margin right. 1 rem. Oh, 1 rem? 1 rem, I think. Yep. And my margin right. 1 rem. And then, yeah, we could also drop it down to the other line as well. Box height. It would be this outer box. Let's say flex direction column. How about that? And then align items would be flex start. So we say if selected value equals metric, metric, we say keep it as row, otherwise set it to column. And then same question here. We say center, otherwise we say flex start, I believe. Oops, flex start. Looks good. Make sure we didn't screw it up on the other end. Nope, that looks good. And then the calculate button, I think that'll be the last question there. We can actually, I think it would just be good to add a little bit of margin on top. Margin top 1 rem. And that way it'll look a little bit more normal in the other view as well. I think the last thing I want to do is actually set the width of the calculator to be fixed. So if we could do that, we'll just say width. We'll say, all right, so 25 rem. I think that's a good width. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So we've set our metric. We were able to calculate metric values, imperial values. We're able to calculate the BMI based on what we were given there. We've done sort of the intro to our body mass index calculator. As I said, you can always expand upon this and add in the rest of these pieces here, but you've seen me do this a ton of times before. If you do want to use this as your portfolio project, though, I would recommend finishing it out entirely and making it a bit more of a robust site. But if you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button. If you want to see more content like this, feel free to subscribe down below. And if you want to see the rest of the challenges in this series, I'll link that playlist up here so you can start over from day one and follow along with us. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.